Frankly, I'm not even sure how to start off a video like this because it's honestly the last thing I would really even want anyone to hear, because I know it's going to disappoint a good number of you, first of all. But just understand that what I'm about to say and announce regards to how this channel is going to continue for the foreseeable future hurts me more than it will probably hurt or disappoint you. But I'm going to say sorry. But hey, I get it. I get it. This day and age, attention span, we're all on a bit of a low. I get that. So before I continue, here's a list of the important points, which will also be in the YouTube run bar right now, divided into these sections, so you can jump to wherever you believe it's relevant for you specifically. Now, with that out the way, yeah, there's no easy way to say this. I've always wanted to be as transparent with you guys on things as much as I can. Remember when I mentioned that this post that I went to the old sacred HQ of Hoyoverse? Yeah, that was like weeks ago now. And truth be told, I was supposed to have that video out before I even came to the UK, before I even returned to the UK. And where is that video? It's not here. It's not here, and I'll let you know why. I have been so low on energy that I have admittedly been procrastinating very hard on even such a video. And this leads me to what you might be afraid to hear, and you've seen in the title when you've clicked on this video. Yes, I'm feeling it, and to even be more blatant, because I really just want to kind of throw everything out here now, what I've been feeling, so you guys at least get an idea of, like, all this. I have felt it, likely for many months now. I always just preferred to keep it on the down low. You guys don't get to really see that, although for those of you that have picked up on, I've been rather more critical about things during streams or recordings. I'm burnt out. I have been burnt out for maybe even longer than I physically realize. And I hate to say this. I hate to say this, but I am. I'm finally going to admit that I am terribly burnt out. But I'll get into what it is specifically soon. Reminder, you can always use the run bar to go to where you feel you are relevant to hear about the details. For this section, it'll be a little bit about myself before I address each of the games I am covering, or to give you a hint, have covered. If you need even further reassurance, okay, I'll just give you this tidbit right now if you're not skipping ahead. Genshin content's not stopping. I've been doing all this. If you're not familiar, the GoDog wasn't my main channel. I had it was a bit of a screw up with me and on, I guess, YouTube's part, where my old channel, GoDog Archives, right up there, I'll put a picture here too, and the info card, could not get monetized, so I had to move to a new one. This is now the current channel you're seeing. I've been doing all this for it's been close to a decade now. Back then, and it still really holds true for me, the reasoning and the main drive of starting this entire journey is still the same. It's still the same, and it will remain the same. I fully grew up watching people like Jack, Mark, Corey, Ryan. Oh, PewDiePie. Sorry, Pewds. Profits. These are some of the people. There's of course there's like dozens more other ones. I've always been really fascinated and just intrigued by how they can essentially explore and enjoy games individually by putting up their reactions on YouTube, having funny edits. You know, especially I'll have 8-Bit Ryan as a standout because I remember how curious I was to just replicate the feeling of how my guy edits his videos. It's all a bunch of goofy edits sprinkled in here and there to, you know, up the enjoyment, the entertainment factor. Crank it up to 11. I love that. I love the idea of it so much. It's that along with sharing this moment with an online audience and have them kind of have the same feeling in turn while watching your videos. Get a good laugh, there's sad moments, they enjoy the emotional stuff along with the CC, the reactor, and eventually such CCs expand out, do a lot more. I looked up to these guys like goddamn superheroes. A huge part of me still does. I admire them, I really do. I love the craft they do. As early as the early 2010s, I think. Maybe a bit later. I don't really recall exactly when it was my first channel started. You can't see that right now because YouTube deleted that back then. Because your boy wasn't old enough, and when I confirmed my age, yo, that channel was gone. I wanted to be like them. I found it so cool if I could replicate what they do, but dabble some of myself in it. Just become me online, or at least an online persona people can have fun watching, just like the big three, just like 8-Bit Ryan or Corey. Just always have these kinds of special engagement and these precious moments to engage with a growing fan base. That's what I did, and I'll admit it was really rough at the beginning. From this video onwards, a good few years was really me it was me goofing around. But I'll be honest, if I'm gonna admit anything, be that as how shitty those videos were back then and how messy it was really a time where that was still me feeling very free about what I do. I'm not saying you guys are at fault for anything that I'll be mentioning later onwards. It's really not. The first few years were just me figuring stuff out and moving on from Roblox. There was a time where I wanted to do Fortnite. Oh my god, you know, remember 2017? Fortnite, everyone's Fortnite. Love Fortnite. Battle Royale, holy shit. PUBG, Apex Legends, fuck. Yep, so, you know, I tried that for only a few videos. Then, no, figured if I actually want to make good content, I'd actually have to be kind of good at it, and I suck. When did I properly begin to really stick to, I guess, a format? It was when my interests fell upon, you may have heard of this, you may have not, it's kind of an old relic by now. It's a little rhythm game called Friday Night Funkin'. Yeah, you know, it's just a simple 2D rhythm game. It was a big thing back then, and mainly because it was carried by tons of mods. That was when actually I would say my proper YouTube career really kicked off. Like, it's just every week is a regular upload of me playing through modded levels of this said game, and it was really fun. I garnered a decent amount of attention for that. One of my highest viewed videos is of playing mods of that game, and honestly sucking at it too, because I'm not good at that either. Kind of realized I'm not really good at too many things. I did FNF for, I believe, a really good while. It was entertaining. I sucked at it, but it was entertaining. Although, sometimes I kind of felt lazy doing that as well, because here we go, is when I was actually there pretty much in around day 1. It was within that month. If you've seen on my old channel, yes, there are initially several videos of Genshin. It's like a weird fever dream looking back on those. And I'll admit, it's pretty funny to look back on me struggling with the the Wolf Weekly boss and everything. My interest initially for Genshin peaked in 2020 and fell immediately off before 1.1 even arrived. Remember the 1.1 livestream? Good God. Right up until the end of version 2.0. That was when I came back. And that was during the time when I was still doing FNF. I did Genshin in the background. I played it for myself, really. And so yeah, that's how it was for a time. Before we reached Lanternrite in version 2. I think that was 2.4. That's when I'd say my journey in covering all these Hoyoverse reactions began, with a simple reaction to the 2.4 livestream with my buddies at the time. I don't really do that anymore because people complained. 2.4 livestream, you know, Yunjin, Sunhe, all that shit. And quickly followed up with me also trying my first time at reacting to doing playthrough reactions, quest reactions, with the Sunhe interlude. Eventually, FNF, I dropped it off, and thank God for that actually, because FNF died off like real hard. Continued through with Genshin, and met a good number of you, like all that long ago, with those early videos. It was slow back then, of course. It's like a shift from game to game. Of course, it's going to take a while. Started from there in Azuma, finished in Azuma, Chasm. Did all that, summer event. Got a lot of views from that Winter Nights Lazo. I'm gonna be honest. I really enjoyed all that. I really enjoyed doing Genshin. At the end of the day, gacha or not, even if it is a gacha, which means it's still predatory, I do like the story. I like the story a lot. I've said this numerous times. Regardless, whatever, Genshin's story for now is still the one I'm like most passionate and dedicated to understanding and learning. So yeah, you know, that time with Genshin was really fun. Entering Sumeru, doing all the quests, cry my bitch ass out when you know, Lord Rukutavaka, sorry, what was I talking about? I don't remember anymore. And around the time where I did Dia's story was... oh boy. Okay. Here it comes. Stepping stone number 1. HSR is released. I'll admit, HSR, it was cool too, back then. You know, hell, with the Cocolia fight, it was dope. It was like a really precious first time experience. The hype was pretty real. Although you kind of have to admit, the Cocolia fight was completely carried by the music. I still believe at the time they really overdid it, because only up until Amphoris did they really kind of catch that moment again, and it's still kind of barely there for me with the Proi. I'm not gonna talk too in depth about it, but what you need to know is it was still alright at the time. Before going into Penacony, all the content in HSR, it was really still acceptable. You know, there was the Bellabog follow-up, there was the Shenzhou follow-up. Although I really think all these continuance quests, it was really still the dev team for HSR figuring stuff out, because look, we don't even get companion missions anymore because they've been kind of shoved into the main quests. Back then, it was still manageable. I'm now doing around that time frame 2 Hoyo games now, Genshin and Star Rail. I definitely realized that I got more occupied because by then we also headed into Fontaine, while there was still HSR on the side for me to do as well. So yeah, it'd be like, hey, I recorded the major quests for the Fontaine introduction. I'm just getting ready to edit. Oh no, actually there's still a HSR livestream to do on that very same week that I need to record and upload as well. So I definitely felt the additional workload. So I suppose here's where I'll slowly tap into the why. The stuff that I'm going to mention later is going to happen. We headed into Penacony. I'll be real, I'm starting to appreciate Penacony way more since I'm Furious. Even then, it was still fine, but back then I was starting to feel like, damn, each act is like, even when I was like really trying to shorten it, it would still result in 3-hour-long uploads, I think. Like, it was long. It was like finale quest for a Genshin region length long. Every version. But I still pulled through. I still did my best to pull through. Penacony Act 1, Penacony Act 2. Here comes the first nail on the coffin. Penacony finale. You've probably heard about me complaining about this numerous times now. I'm going to clarify some things, because some of you might not be familiar enough with how the workflow goes around. So I hope I can at least make you understand some things, so you can understand where I'm coming from and where my frustration lies with a lot of what's about to be said. I just want to say first that reactors and people, you, the audience, watching the reactions, we experience everything, the quests, the events, the live streams, in a pretty different way compared to you. You, the audience, you're merely here to consume, especially at times where it kind of does put me off, but I don't hold it against you guys at all, because most of the time, with such a niche, like watching reactions of such game contents, people tends to just, instead of watching the entire playthrough, I know some of you do, like some of you mention how you kind of use me for meal times, which I find really intriguing, but I get it, you know, this is me having dinner without YouTube. Not to discredit you, some of you do really enjoy and take your time to watch the entire playthroughs, and I'm so grateful for that. And not just for me, grateful to you guys that actually spend the time to watch the entire playthroughs of other CCs as well. I think that really leans into appreciating the full length and effort of their work. I think that's really important. But there's also a good number of people that simply skip to the important points, the most replayed bits of the reactions, or where they know the cutscene's gonna show up, and simply watch that, see the reactions, the important bits, and then that's kind of the entire video done for them. I would assume most of you go into watching the reactions after you've done the quests, which means also you know whatever's going to happen through it. If you wish to skip, you know, I have no control over that, and I don't really blame you for it. There are bits where there's just dialogue in the quests. There's other bits where it's just tends to be some bit of filler there, this other thing here, doing something uninteresting. That's why me in editing, I do my best to shorten the quests in its entirety, and my reaction as well, so there's as little of that as possible. Some of you, or a big number of you, I'm not really sure with the statistics, but I'd imagine there's a good number that experiences the content online from CCs in that very way. Here comes to how I'd imagine it is for, or how I believe it is for a lot of CCs, I guess, in this niche. It's like competition, right? It's more of who gets the content out faster. People can be as patient as they want. If a demo trailer comes out here, you know, record it, get the reaction right out there. Live stream, same thing, same day, or as soon as possible. Quests, as soon as possible. Quest reactions, everything. You gotta be on the highest of the high of the search results. You get there first, you will come up early. You will come up big in the search results, while you guys kind of only need to worry about just watching and waiting for the videos. We need to kind of manage and do a lot of things in the background. So yeah, Penacony Act 3 comes, Penacony the finale. To date, it has to be the longest live stream I have ever done on the channel. You can't see it anymore because I mean, it's on my VOD channel. That thing lasted for 11 hours, from morning to night. I thought it's simply a quest that I could finish in a single sitting. Fuck no. The last quest of Penacony was so unexpectedly long that it got to a point where it was draining me so bad while playing through it. I just wanted it to be over. That was really when it all first began. And it took me, I think, until a Tuesday upload to get it done. And I'll just mention something right now, something important. This may sound like me boasting, but I really hope you guys don't take it that way, because this is not what I'm trying to say. For as long as I've run this YouTube journey, the YouTube channel, even from the old one, it's only really ever been me doing everything. Well, there are some generous contributions, such as my good friends, say, you know, designing a border for me like this, or doing covers for songs so I can kind of, for my stream, as like the background music while I'm still idle, or doing some thumbnails. But thumbnails were more of that's an old thing now, but I'm not gonna discredit their effort. In recent years, thumbnails have also just kind of been me solely. But it's to say that most of the hard backbone stuff, all the editing, all the recording, uploading, posts, it's really all just been me as a one-man team. And you know, hire editors, right? And I wish I could, but I'm not really big enough, and I don't have the revenue to hire anyone. You know, people's work don't come cheap, and I don't earn enough fast enough to pay for any of that on a regular basis if I really were to hire someone. And it's not, even if I could, it's not to say I distrust people. Even if I do have the chance to hire editors, I would really only do it for like live stream videos, demo videos, trailer videos. I'd delegate the work of that to them. But major editing, maybe I'll let them cut up the quests to like basic lengths so I can do the refining stuff myself. That would be helpful. I'd still be more comfortable with me doing the major edits myself, but none of that has happened. So it's like I said, it's just me as a one-man team managing all this stuff for about since everything began. I hope you understand the enjoyment for Penacony was completely washed away by realizing the amount of workload I had to do to get that singular Act 3 out edited on YouTube. And it always stresses me out as well, knowing that shit like algorithm and all that, it's on the clock. The longer I take to put out a video, the more, you know, people have already watched other people's reactions and stuff, you know. Which is especially why I prefer to do it in my style, which is to say, it is really me from the past carried over to here. I've always thought that I wanted to make these reactions, these such niche reactions for like reacting to Hoyo stuff, Hoyo content, quest content, more special, more fun, and more entertaining in all aspects, by bringing forth a piece of me for the videos, which is to say, I put a lot of funny editing. I put everything I've learned in the time before I led up to doing Hoyo stuff, and I put that all to use, and I learn along with all this as I go. It's not just a simple cut up reaction, it's a fully edited experience for you guys to watch. I really believe it's way more entertaining that way. And although it's hard work, I love doing this part of editing, especially going to all these lengths and also always learning more tools to further expand on my editing skills as a whole along this journey. This is my favorite part about putting out any video, about working on any quest recording. It is undoubtedly at the top, my favorite bit in every project. But it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of just sitting the whole day in front of my laptop with some energy drinks to pull through the day, cutting up all that and adding be it funny edits, emotional edits. You know, if it's sad, like I always used to say, if it's sad for me, I'll make it extra sad for you by putting in, you know, more edits. To the point where I made myself cry more while trying to make a sad scene even more sad. For example, the Hu Tao event. So that's always been my philosophy and the workflow I go by. I can at least stand out from everyone else, or else I kind of just feel too similar to just about everyone reacting to all this out there, because there's dozens, there's countless creators also doing such reactions, doing the playthroughs. So I really wanted to make it feel like, you know, special. It's not just coming upon a reaction and going, oh, that's cool. It's coming up to the video and it's like, oh, Godog reacted to this. Let's go, finally. And I've achieved moderate success in that part, and I'm really grateful for that. Seeing how people are specifically excited for my reaction on things, and I'm just so grateful to hear such views from the comments, because I know it's actually working. It's a long, arduous, and exhausting process, but at the end of the day, I do get fruits for my labor. So on that part, I'm really thankful for you guys, because if not for that, I'd have given up on this long time ago. Going back to Penacony, up to then, I don't think I've been worn out anywhere close as with me editing through Act 3 of Penacony. Like, I'm not lying when I say I was traumatized more than me enjoying the quest itself after I uploaded that video. Like, I was really dead tired. I don't think I've ever been that tired when uploading stuff, because back when I was still doing Friday Night Funkin', the recordings at most would be like 30 something minutes long, maximum an hour. So me shifting to like doing quest long reactions such as Genshin is already like a pretty daring step for me to take, but I was really willing to do it. What shocked the hell out of me is just I didn't expect Penacony to be like that in terms of runtime. It especially didn't help that whoever directed the voice really wanted to make sure that, well, you know, mysterious characters and, you know, the antagonist needed to really talk slowly, and for Black Swan, she needed to sound sensual and mysterious and talk in analogies and metaphors. With Sunday, it's every day needed to be a Sunday. Penacony Act 3 wasn't fun for me. It was even less fun for me to edit. Not gonna sugarcoat it, it was painful. Moving on, for Genshin, we got into Natlin, and that was also during the time where I started year 3, my last year of bachelor's here in the UK for my uni. And things were getting, there was a lot piling up. So there was also studies, there was also YouTube to focus on. So at that time, I already had barely any free time for myself to do anything I preferred. And I remember one extremely tiring 3 weeks was the release of Natlin, which means I had to go through Act 1 of Natlin, Act 2 of Natlin as separate videos. That makes up for 2 weeks worth of uploads. And then immediately followed up, without a break, is the quest of the finale of the Blade Saga, whatever the fuck, the Shenjo War Dance thingy, because that was a long quest to edit too. And just to call back a little bit, I think it was before or after that. I don't recall. I think it was after, because like after that War Dance thing, they still weren't done. They had another long ass quest of the epilogue already to the epilogue of Penacony, because Penacony has like so many epilogues. They just can't decide when the story ends there. Oh, not to mention they're having another epilogue in 3.8. The epilogue I'm mentioning is the Banana University one. Oh my god. That was another long one. It already started to feel ridiculous for me. How can an interlude quest be bloated up so much that it's the length of a fucking Archon quest finale? It was like longer than Fontaine's finale. And it's an interlude quest. Like, Rappa's fucking dope and shit. Her music video was blasting. But really? I don't get it. I still don't get it. So yeah, that took me ages to edit too, which again built to my exhaustion. Around this time, my burnout was already building. I just didn't let you guys know at the time. But I was already plenty frustrated. What's important to note, it's also around this time that I really believed I should kick it up a notch and put even more effort into upping the quality of my editing and just how good it is for you guys as an audience. Learning a lot more editing effects, you know, doing research, all that, learning new tools, just upping the quality as a whole, which, you think about it, obviously would translate to even more time spent editing. This is when I started realizing that videos, I guess it's a collection of a lot of stuff happening that contributed to it all. Like Genshin quests were getting slightly longer, and then I mean Star Rail, no shit, of course it was getting longer. Accompanied with me doing more edits, I started to realize, such as Genshin story quests, which I can finish in a single day and upload it the day after that, started to take two days to finish, 3 days, sometimes even 4. That's the first one that happened with that was Mavwika. It took me 4 days to finish that quest editing, and I was just really unhappy with the pace I was going. But you know, progressing through Natlin, and towards the end of 2024 was also the time where I had to rush back to China because my dad passed away around late November. That was an especially hard time for me as well, especially given the fact that I could only really be back there for 2 weeks, because otherwise it would disrupt my studies with uni. So although I still was recovering, I did go ahead and play through the finale of Natlin for you guys. I guess also as a way to take my mind off things. So yeah, that kind of concludes 2024, and oh well, 2025. We're kind of towards the end now. 2025, early on. What are we teased to? Amphorius. Golden Epic trailer, the first variation at least. Holy shit, it's the Flame Chasers, which would not mean anything for anyone who hasn't played Honkai Impact, which again, I kind of feel like it sucks a bit for people who haven't. I still feel like what Xiaoji said was bullshit. The fan service for Impact, the Elysian Realm arc, they said it won't be shoved full frontal into your face. But it was though. Sprinkled is what you'd call right in Bozumori May in Penacony. They won't make another Elijah, right? You know? But they did. They just simply renamed her. It's just Elijah. And when they mentioned it was like a year-long patch story, boy. Part of me already felt not excitement, no, fear. Because the reasonable assumption was for me is like, oh, which means they'll just divide up the runtime evenly, right? Surely. Surely, that was what some people were suspecting too. They'll divide up the runtime, and the finale will be a long quest. And here comes 3.0, day 1. What can I say? Wow. It completely blew away my expectations. In the worst way possible. Not only was it long, the first act of Amphorius is longer than the final act of Penacony. You know, the very same quest that mentally scarred me. And, so that kept going. And the moment I finished Act 1 of Ampho, I knew immediately that I did not simply have the capacity in me to continuously spend such a long time in the video format I do, as in like do a full edit of the quest every 6 weeks. I knew I just didn't have it in me. It would be too much work, which is when I released this video right here, saying that I will no longer be editing the way the Amphorius playthroughs like I would. I would still be uploading my reactions, of course, but I won't be editing them as much. It was also by then that I gave up really on the gameplay of HSR as well. I haven't been tuned in to do anything about HSR from the gameplay perspective since 3.0. I pulled Herta and that was it. I think I got as far as the welcome event for Amphorius, the map exploration, and I simply just gave up. I really couldn't care less. It became a cycle of I do the reaction for you guys, I finish recording, I uninstall the game to free up space. When the next patch story drops, I install the game again, record, react, uninstall again. If you guys don't know, it's just been a cycle of that until now. I pulled E2 Finan, and I couldn't be bothered to build him. He's been sitting there and collecting dust. So yeah, moving along. 2025. This final bit that I'm gonna tell you, it hurts me even more so because I looked forward to Zenless a lot. I looked forward to Zenless even more than HSR because Zenless's combat really looked intriguing and it grabbed my attention. This hack and slash, flashy, like stage level combat. How they marketed it as a fighting game. There's complex movesets and all that. All these, and how the Zenless team was dedicated to just adding a lot of attention to detail. And on launch, I enjoyed the heck out of it. Zenless was really fun. It felt fresh and it was addictive. The combat was really smooth. And I liked it. The story was good and cool. I liked a lot about Zenless that I don't really have bad things to say about it. I guess not until we reached version 2. But as fun as it is, when I eventually tried to accommodate and expand over to Zenless content, I realized that I was pushing my limit. I was using time to put out content from time I already didn't have. The realistic thing is to say is because Amphorius kept going, the quests were still long, they kind of tuned it out a bit, they removed the puzzles. I don't even know why they thought the puzzles were a good idea in the first place. But it was still long. There was good moments for Amphorius, but for one thing, I really agree with this thing Bran Online said, Amphorius for me has been nothing but... It can be dumbed down to this line he said. It's like 7 to 8 hours of just dialogue. Sometimes it isn't even really that entertaining. Sometimes it's just filled with a bunch of filler to bloat up the runtime, which I don't understand why they do it. Again, hold me on to the point that we reactors, we experience the game a lot differently from you guys. We're on a deadline most of the time. We don't have time to just space out the stuff like casual playthroughs. We're running on a clock, so we can't take our time. The more we take our time, the less attention it will eventually garner. So with what Bran Online said, it's like 7 to 8 hours of dialogue and 1 to 2 hours of awesomeness. Honestly, even 2 hours is generous. It's mostly just 1 hours of really actually attention grabbing good moments. To me, it's not really an enjoyable formula whenever I do it, even myself. That's really been what Amphorius is to me up until now. Let's skip ahead. Wi-Fi Peninsula. Wi-Fi Peninsula dropped, and it's the obligatory kind of like Chinese Asian style arc that every Hoyo game kind of feels the need to have, which is fine. The whole Miasma storyline is intriguing, but by then, and especially now, I've come to terms with something. I've started my masters in the UK just this week, just yesterday, and it's going to likely be a busy period, and the most busy I will have ever gotten with my studies. It's a very important stage in my life, and I'm not like, I don't have the luxury of some CCs where they can kind of just do this full time. I wish I could, but I'm not that big. I'm not that big enough to do that. So I have to continue balancing out studies with doing this for you guys. But masters, it's really important for me. I got lucky and I got into a uni I'm really looking forward to spending my time learning, and I'm still 21. I haven't even entered the real world yet. If to be honest, so it's a crucial time for me as a person, for my future. All that is to say is I don't have the time anymore to split my attention among 3 different Hoyo games. God, sometimes I even see people commenting that, oh, they want me to check out Withering Waves. They want to see my reactions to Withering Waves too, and I can't bring myself to say that, especially now, it's not something that's realistically possible. Unless I suddenly explode in views and I can do this full time, which is just unrealistic. There is no way currently I can ever do Withering Waves. I'm sorry. I haven't bothered to properly study up on HSR lore as much as what's just been given to me. I wanted to get into Zenless lore. I didn't have the time, because if I really wanted to show that I have, full knowledge of the lore, as much knowledge of it as I can, I do my best. I jot down notes. I bought notebooks. If I really wanted to seem presentable and relatable and know all these bits and get like such responses like, oh, I'm so glad you pay attention to the story. I'm so glad you know this and you know that. You picked up that little thing about this. There's no place for me to do that across 3 complete games. It'll be like me dedicating a full time to YouTube and Twitch when I really don't have the luxury to do so. The most I can do right now is just Genshin, and even at times I have a tough time finding enough space for that as well. But I do my best, because I still hold on to Genshin pretty dearly, given I've stuck with it for so long, for 5 years almost now. Okay, so we're just gonna get to the most important parts. Some of this news is going to make quite a number of you sad, disappointed, and possibly angry at me, but I don't have any choice. It's just something I have to do, and from this sheer burnout, it's an accumulation of my studies, my IRL responsibilities, and just gacha, and in general, and how FOMO it is, really. Part of me has gotten really sick of it. Realistically, if I still want to do all 3 games, it's really not healthy for me as a person. As of this video, I have to make some hard choices. Genshin. Nothing's changing about Genshin. I'm still going to continue to do and stream Genshin content as I've always done in the past. It's a shame I didn't start streaming Genshin sooner, but nothing's changing. I might even get some time now to do some... Here's how it's gonna work. The major editing will always be reserved for Archon quests, or the main quest. If there's like no Archon quest, the main event quest of that version, it'll be reserved for that. And along with like character quests, if they still do like 1 or 2, because I feel like they definitely will do, and other related quests. And just more moderately edited videos, like less edited ones. I might get the time to do some, finally, to go back to doing some world quest videos. So that'll be really nice, because I really actually enjoy doing the world quests of Genshin. Ever since Sumeru with Jet, world quests have been peak. They're really good. With Fontaine, the whole Nod-Krai order, it blew my mind how it all tied together. Hopefully I plan to do some basic edits of those quests, so you guys have some of that to watch as well and look forward to. What I can't promise is I'll be on time for like trailer reactions and stuff. If there's like really major ones, like, you know, for example, another God's Limits or another Winter Night's Lazo, I'll be on time for it, as quick as I can, as best as I can. But for like demo trailers, teasers, and stuff like that, I can't promise that I can get a reaction out of that. I will try to the best of my ability, but that's not something I can promise. Honkai Star Rail. From what you've heard, unless you've just skipped here from the beginning, you can kind of get an idea that I haven't really enjoyed playing through Star Rail probably since the start of Amphorius. And I'm sorry I was dishonest with everyone. I didn't want to let everyone down, and kind of want to keep the hype for some of you guys going, because I know some of you, the people who watch my HSR videos, are genuinely passionate for the game, and I couldn't be more happy for you guys that you have a game that you really enjoy dedicating your time to, reading up on the lore, everything, pulling the characters. That's all fine, but for me, I really don't get an enjoyment out of doing HSR anymore. That's the unfortunate truth. And please don't take this as a personal attack to you, because that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm merely here delivering announcement messages, because I know some of you is going to take it that way, but please don't. I'm not here to insult you. That's the last thing I want to do. It only dumbs down to I've gotten pretty sick of playing through HSR. That's it. It's not aimed at you. It's completely me. It's completely a me thing. I haven't enjoyed playing it for a long while now. And that's the truth. So what's gonna happen to it? What's gonna happen to HSR content? In truth, the most I will do is I will, at least since we're so close to it anyway, I'll do you guys a favor and at least finish off the Amphorius arc, because it'll be coming in 3.7. And if there maximum I'll allow, if there really is like a short epilogue or something in 3.8, which I'm really not expecting because they want to do like the billionth epilogue for Penacony, I'll do that, but that's it. After that, I'll completely stop my coverage of Star Rail, likely permanently. It's not, sadly, a game I can see myself coming back to, even if I get the time in the future. I can't stand it. I can't stand the way they do the pacing of the story. It's just, it's not enjoyable for me, and I really can't pull myself to do the epilogue they have planned for Penacony either in 3.8. I'm not gonna do that. That's the plan for HSR. But at least like I said, I'll wrap up Amphorius before I will quit the game entirely. And okay, lastly, Zenless. This one hurts the most, I'll admit. Zenless has probably my favorite version of combat in all of Hoyoverse's products. It's my absolute favorite. The amount of detail they put into the combos and everything, it's so good. And it hurts me to say that the most I'll do, I have the footage for, I believe, version 2.2, the one with Oboe Squad, stored in my drive, and I'm like really basically cut it up and put it up on my VOD channel. And then I am going to put Zenless content into hiatus. I realistically know we're still in the middle of the Miasma Wi-Fi Peninsula arc, and there's no way I can see it through to the end, especially with a packed time like this. And I don't know when I'd return to it. That's something I'm very unsure of. So for those of you that, if you're really frustrated by this and want to leave, I don't blame you, and I can't stop you, and I won't stop you, because it is valid. You know, I'm supposed to provide, and I'm not doing my job. So that's the plans for Zenless, and that is all. That has been this announcement. So hopefully you guys have a clearer view on the news you wanted to get, and at least learned a bit about where I'm coming from, hopefully. That you paid attention to that part. At the moment this video goes live, that's how it's going to be. So, sorry about that, everyone. Have a nice day.